Hi, when we last left off, we had a box rendered to our canvas and a line circle in the middle. Now let's go add some motion to make this seem more like a video game. Adding motion with a canvas is actually pretty simple. All we're going to do is clear out our canvas and redraw the elements in a new position every time we want something to move. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go over and switch over to IntelliJ. What I'm going to do is, instead of rendering this once, I'm going to render it over and over again. And so to create a loop, I'm going to use the JavaScript setInterval function. So to do that, I'm going to use the DOM package, and I'm going to do .setInterval. Now setInterval takes two things. One, a function of what to do every time, and a timeout of how often to do it. So the function is going to not take any parameters, and inside the function we're going to do this. And we want to render at the fastest rate we can, so I'm going to set the interval to be 0, and the browser will run this function as often as it can. So we can go ahead and load this, and we can actually see that some of these lines got thicker. Now, why did the lines get thicker? What we're doing is we're rendering this on top of itself over and over again. So we get that feeling of thickness since the lines are getting rendered on top of each other. What we want to do is clear out our canvas every time before rendering. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to do canvas context, and there's a method clearRect on canvas, which takes a starting x and y, which is 0, 0, and a width and height, and our canvas is 500 by 500. So now we can load it up, and it looks just like it was before. Now let's go ahead and add some motion. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a var cur_x, which represents the current x position of the circle, and var cur_y. And instead of doing 250, 250, I'm going to do cur_x and cur_y. And after each render, I'm going to increment cur_x by 1 using plus equal, and cur_y by 1. I can compile this and reload, and now we have a moving circle across our canvas. So right now we're not moving our circle to the beginning every time. It's just going to keep on moving away from the top left, so you have to reload every time you want to see it again. So one thing you might have noticed is right now we're creating a new circle for every single re-render, and we're storing the location in a variable. Right? The reason we're having these variables is we're simulating what a physics engine would do. Our physics engine would give us a way to get the current x and y position of the circle at any time, but we don't have our physics engine yet, so we're just going to go with cur_x and cur_y. When we do move on to using a proper physics engine, though, instead of doing cur_x plus 1 and cur_y plus 1, which is moving our circle into the future position, we would update our physics world. And instead of using cur_x and cur_y here, we would actually get the current position from the physics engine. But for now, we don't have a physics engine, so we're just going to use these vars. And that's it for adding motion to our game. So now we have a line circle moving across our screen. So that's it for part 4. I'll see you next time when we move on to building the infrastructure we'll need to add a physics engine to our game.